Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Paint Party live stream. I'm so glad to have you with me here in studio this evening. I hope you're having a great week and that you had a wonderful weekend and a relaxing weekend. It's so good to be back with you in the studio. This live stream is really laid back. It's like an open house. You can stay as long as you'd like. You can also participate in the live stream on the comments wherever you're watching. So whatever platform you're on, feel free to engage in the comments. I love to chat with you during the live stream, so you can ask questions or make comments about the painting. This is my Learn to Paint journey. That is, I am teaching myself to paint, and so I try to meet every week with you here in the studio and bring you along as I continue my growth as an artist. As I said, the live stream is pretty laid back. Pop in, pop out, stay as long as you'd like. And yeah, that is the flow of the show this evening. All right, I'm going to get this camera set up and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're painting this evening, and then we will jump right into it. I am switching, oh, that's a little sideways. I'll switch over here as I get this all set up. It is a warm day in the mountains today. We have had summer for sure the last few weeks here, but we get breaks in between, so it's not terrible. Okay, let's see. But it is pretty warm. I have all the fans going, and I know I will be sweating by the end of this. Okay, let's see. All right. Well, we'll see if that works. Okay. Let me welcome to all of those of you who are joining a little later here. I see you coming in. Oh. I was cleaning my palette previously and have paint, which I don't want to leave oil paints on my hands too long. All right. So this is the reference that we will be painting this evening, or I'll be painting, you'll be watching. And it has the, has the graph kind of set there. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this because it is an amalgamation of a couple of images, and I want to kind of arrange them on the canvas in a way that is going to, I hope, improve the composition. One of the things I want to do is actually move the tree that is on the left-hand side forward in the picture plane. I also want to make sure that the hill, the crest of the hill, is across that diagonal line like it is there. And I want to blend. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that little tree there in the back or I'm going to simplify this a little bit, but I basically want to guide the eye along the little path in the front of the picture frame. So I'm going to move that on that diagonal line to the tree and then back into the forest. So we will see if I can make all of those adjustments and make them flow smoothly. And before we jump in, I'm going to put, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to put this over here so you can see my palette. I'm just cleaning out the little holder, the paint holder here, trying to carve out some of this dead paint that will, if I don't get it completely pulled out, can leave some kind of crusty residue. in the paint, and we don't want that in our new paint. So we want to try to get this out of there. All right, we will restock the paint here, and then we'll jump right in and we'll sketch in some of this composition and go from there. How was everyone's week? I hope you had a good week. Again, as you're joining us, you can feel free to comment or make comments or ask questions as we go through the evening. Always enjoy interacting with you, so please feel free to do so. Glad to have you all watching the live stream. Let me see if I can get these gloves on. It's a little rough wearing these latex gloves when it's so hot outside. It's not terrible hot, but in this attic, which is where my studio is, it's a little warm, and the gloves definitely make your hands perspire, but it's better than handling the paints directly. Putting a little bit cad lemon, which is cadmium yellow of some sort. We'll put some yellow ochre. This will help us perhaps mix some of these other colors. Then of course we'll have our staples of ultramarine and burnt umber. Everyone's quiet this weekend, or this week. I'm glad to have you though. Thanks for joining. As always, I enjoy having you here. Oh, we have plenty of blue. That will give us to work with. Then we'll do our white. If you hear that background noise through the open windows, I apologize. Those are motorcyclists running up and down Main Street. We are about to start the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. Now, yeah, we'll just have to see how this goes, but we'll I'm going to switch cameras for you so you can see my canvas, and then we'll jump in. All right, there's the canvas that we'll be working from. I'm going to mix a little bit of a thin wash so that I can jot in some of this. Oh, I'm bumping the camera. I apologize. Let me see if I can bring this down. We'll see if it gets too much glare as we go, but at least at the beginning that should help. Okay, let's see. My brushes are kind of on the other side of where I am. So let's see. We'll put a few of these out. We can always come back and get a different one. But try to stay as loose as possible. Okay. Hey there, Greg. So glad to have you. Thanks for joining us. Always love having my Twitch friends pop in. Okay, I'm going to take a little mineral spirits, mix it with some burnt umber. It's very runny, but that helps it to dry quick, and we'll put in some of this composition. Okay, again, we want our line of our mountain to come right across the center. And I think this is where we want so it'll go kind of like this. Then we shall have our center spot. This is where I kind of want the we'll just kind of put an image in here. This is where I kind of want the, we may move it back in here. We'll see. That's the fun of painting, or one of the fun things is you can adjust it the more as you go. Trying to debate whether I put this tree in kind of fall foliage. So that'll kind of be our fence line. And then over on this side, we'll do this tree. We'll bring it kind of out, because what I'd like is this to be a definite balance to this big block of color. And to keep the eye from going off the canvas, we want to, I think we want to move it pretty far in the, I think I want to move it over, and so this one is, so your eye will go doop, 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 and kind of go around. That's the goal. Okay. What do we think? I think that's good. I think we do. Okay. Something like that. Then we want another, I think, line going here that's kind of the tree line. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. So that it pushes that back into the, pushes this back into the background a little bit. We'll give it a little bit of a value shift. There we go. I think we can do something really cool back here. We can put kind of a little light we can do these cool little we'll just do bright little spots that pop through. There we go. Sorry about that. Just want you to be able to see everything I'm doing here. So we'll do the most detail up close, but these again will give us a real feeling of the but that way the eye will really and I think I'm just not gonna I'm going to take that tree out. Little by little, we're getting there. Okay, let's do a little bit of painting now that we have our composition pretty much figured out. What do y'all think? What do you think? Everyone's so quiet tonight. But I know I said that earlier, but good night. Good night, y'all. Good night. Okay. Let me see if I can do... Let's start at the back and come forward. So we're going to start with the sky color. I'm going to start with a... You know what I want to do? Just because it's fun, is I want to cobalt. Oh, excuse me. Cerulean. I'm going to take just a tad of this cerulean blue. Ooh. Except it is flying out of that. I'm going to put it right there. And we are going to do some... Hey there, Mark. So good to have you join. Thanks so much, as always, for popping in. Really appreciate it. I'm going to take just a little cerulean blue and give us a much more, well, at least compared to the reference photo, we will do a much more saturated sky, because I kind of want that feel of kind of those big blue Montana skies. That's kind of what I'm going for. Need do a little bit of yellow, the blue, cerulean, the white. We'll get this covered. Well, I'll have to probably do another coat, but that's okay. I probably should have used a larger brush. In fact, may just do that. Let us, where I think I left some brushes downstairs. Let's do this then. Let's see if we can. I really want to have the, I love the feel of, or the look of that, the brush marks in the paint, and so let's use a large brush and kind of give ourselves those that movement in the paint. And what we'll do is come all the way across with this kind of saturated blue, and I'll bring it pretty much down here, and then we'll desaturate a little bit at the base because that's where the atmosphere is or we're looking through the most atmosphere. So we'll do that. What we want to do down here is add a little yellow. Definitely put a bunch more white into it. We want to come all the way down to this, then bring it up into a really nice blend. This helps keep the painting from looking really cartoonish, because that's how the sky actually is. There are a variety of tones. Oop, I took it too yellow. But that's not terrible. There are a variety of tones in the sky, and if it was all that really saturated blue, then we get a lot of, it's just, you don't have any illusion that it's receding out into the distance. And so this helps to do that. Then we'll just come in there and blend this in a little bit. Okay, this is just a block in, but it's very subtle, but there's kind of a lighter, and then it's darker as it goes, or a little more saturated. You have a good an opportunity for some great contrast at horizon near the almost black tree on the left. It's going to look awesome, I bet. Thank you. This is the goal. I want to have that really dark, and I kind of pushed it off the side of the canvas because I do want that, I do want that contrast, because I want that to push the eye back into the middle of I want the eye to kind of bounce around in the painting like this. That's the goal. Okay, now we have this, which is a blue now. Not sure. Think what I'm going to do. I still haven't decided if I want to put, I think I need to do it in evergreen. So now I need to figure out what are going to be my, I really want to push these back here, so I think I'm going to do a, think I'm going to do kind of a greenish, really diffused, grayish blue back there. Okay. So that's our bit of that, a little bit of yellow. Okay, but I want to dull this down a little bit. Let's see if we can go back in here, kind of put in this, how that works for us. We'll just take it up into the tree because we can always cover it. Okay, that's kind of our, now I think I want to see if I can do this. Over here as kind of my base color. Now, want this. Hey there. So glad to have you all. And since this is a little closer, I just want to give it a little variation. Oh, and so because I really want the saturated greens to pop way forward here in this foreground. So I want, even though this is close, I want it to look farther away. So by doing these kind of vertical paint strokes, then you leave some of the underpainting popping through, and it helps to give, it'll be places you can put can go in and put light and shadow, and it already, just by doing that, it suggests the trees that are there. Then we will have more of a contrast here. We'll do this dark and this will be the darkest. And so we'll have definitely 3 different planes. Again, will lead your eye. The path and the fence line will draw us, but your eye will go right into the painting. So that's the goal. Okay. Now, let's see if we can do some. Now we have to mix. I want a darker, definitely a darker value, but I also want a I need it a bit more diffused, because I don't, the darker, if we do something real dark, whoops, I brought it too light now, then we bring it too far forward. So, but I want to do something along that line. And I'm not so worried about the colors right now as I am about the value shape, or the value range. There. Something like that. And we do. Let me see, just a second. Okay. See, putting these, just a few suggestions of shadows up in here, we'll start to see some trees take. And this will be a guide for when we put in more, but we may not have to put in much more color or detail. Then we want to come up here, take some of this and just, they almost blend right where they, I mean, we know that it goes behind there, but yeah. Kind of crazy, isn't it? How it starts to come together. All right, I'm gonna take a minute to see oh my goodness, it's so warm in here, y'all. I am feeling it for sure. Okay, but I'm happy with how these values are working, and I think I want to go up and I think I want to just continue coming forward and do this tree, so that, because I really need to make sure this and this and this are all in the proper value range, and then we can go in and, because I think if I start going in here with the light greens, like the color is going to draw me away and it's going to be too much, if that makes sense, because I'm going to get excited about color and then it will be a problem. So let us see, just a second. Okay. Let me see you all. Okay. Sorry, I get these, since I'm using my phone to film, then when I get calls or numbers. Oh, yeah, I'm sweaty. I always forget when I put this, have my apron on, then it's a bit toasty. Okay, now we want to bring this forward, and the darkest spots in the landscape are going to be the trees. So we want to, but I don't want it to be too dark, so I'm using all of this, mixing right together basically to keep it a consistent color. So we'll do kind of the shaded side, kind of put in a value of our then we'll come in with the Now all we need to do is do a little more blue and start. I'm gonna start with just some yellow ochre just to bring it up a little bit, but not the cad yellow, which is the super bright. Hey Shirley, so good to see you. I hope you guys had a good time. Was it Vegas? Sorry I missed you this trip, but I will definitely catch you next time, or next time you're in the hills. Okay, now let's do... Okay, I'm going to put a little of this color back in here, but not too much. The light side of the tree is over here. I still haven't learned how to paint the perfect evergreen pine tree, but we'll figure it out. So I'm going to take some more of this yellow ochre and bring it in here so that we have just kind of a little bit of it's really kind of perfect out there, but it's too perfect, so we'll have to kind of cut it up a little bit, but it'll start to give us the feeling. See what's happening by keeping all these values consistent? Now when I do another like coat of paint, I'll be able to just follow the pattern because it's pretty good. Kentucky. Oh, yes. Okay. I don't know why I thought Vegas, but I knew it was a Corvette event. I hope you guys had a great time. I'll have to, next time I see you, you'll have to tell me all about it. My trip down south was really nice. It was, yeah, it was very nice. I spent some time up in Conifer with a couple of friends from Arkansas, and loved that area. It feels very Lead-like to me, even though they're a few thousand feet higher, but gorgeous area, very peaceful. And then came down to the city for the weekend for a day and a half, and saw a couple friends there. I didn't get a chance to see the girls, and I know I missed them, but it's crazy now. I used to have no friends in the area. Now I have so many I can't see them all. But I did catch up with a friend I worked with last time I saw her. I worked with her my first job out of college, and last time I saw her was 15 or 16 years ago at her son's baptism. Couldn't believe it. She's like, I don't think I've seen you since his baptism, and he's about to be 16. I thought, oh my goodness. Okay, now, yes, we went to Conifer, and I want to say Evergreen, but it's not Evergreen. But there's a little town right there that was a cute little gallery town with a little reservoir, and walked around the reservoir, and yeah, it was just very peaceful, but still, you know, close enough to the city. Great in the summer. I wouldn't want to hoof it up there in the winter though. All right, so this one, what we want to do is we want to come in with the darkest tones and put in our very darkest shades. So we're going to go straight black, well, not straight black, but our dark black, our dark color. And let's see, I'm going to put in the, whoa, sorry, I bumped you. I'm going to put in this, I guess I didn't, you can't really see the colors I'm mixing, but this dark will put in the darkest spots of this and I want to be, because we're getting the closest to the viewer, so I want to be I want it to be super, not super detailed, but the most detailed, so that it suggests, because the eye will fill in so much, but I really want to, as we get closer, again, that sells the it sells the illusion. And what we'll do is we'll put in some of these spots, then we'll just come back basically with very, very minimal lighter values. Okay. And this will give us an opportunity to also later come in with sky holes. So yeah, I'm just gonna fill some of this in all the way up. Welcome again to all those of you that have joined in the, since we started. There's more, I see a few more sitting out there. So glad to have you. Thank you. This is much more dense as we get down to the bottom, and that will help us also be more accurate, I think. I'm gonna take now here, put some of this darkness, and I'm starting to do vertical because this will be where we'll put some shadow in the grass. So, and I'm not too worried about going too dark here because it'll end up getting lightened as we put things around it. But I do want to do a little bit. I think I want to actually use a different brush though, because this brush is pretty inflexible. So I'm going to take a little bit of a smaller brush because I want to come in and put kind of the edge of this where this path kind of goes back. Okay. Now it looks too much, but it definitely is doing what I want it to do, so that's good. Okay, now here's our too dark, my dark brush. Okay, let's put that there. Those are dark brushes. These are our light brush. We'll come back to there. Now, what I want to do is take a little brush and do some taking a little bit of yellow ochre into this, very little, into this dark shade, and I want to do some of these. We'll just give them a little bit of this, we just, again, this is not bringing up the chroma, which is I am not messing too much with that. That's the intensity of the yellow, in this case, in the paint. I'm doing it very lightly. I'm doing it mostly through values. There's not a lot of, because I don't want bright green in this corner and then all of a sudden the eye comes right in there and is like, whoa, I'm distracted because there's all this bright color. But I do want this to look like there's some three-dimensionality here. I do want that to read really well. But I don't want to mix too much with the, see how subtle the, don't want to mix too much with the dark, because I want the darks to stay dark. If that makes sense. I just want to cover the canvas. But can you see really subtly how there's little tiny bits of highlights there? That's what I'm doing. Controlling these values, and we'll put a little tiny bit more yellow as we go up, because as you get higher, closer to the top of the tree, it's number one, it's thinner, but it's also, you're catching more light. So we want a little bit of this happening. And the very last will be like, it's just going to be a little tiny bit. This will be just where the light is catching the most. So we'll do a few of these, and then we'll have to wait for this all to dry to come over and, you know, do more. But this is a great time to shape these things, because I'm gonna be blended anyway. So if we can shape the tree, and I'm gonna come back in here and put sky holes in some of this as well. Kind of building this out, even though it's all blended right now, it's not gonna show very well. It'll give us layers when I come put the darks back in, if that makes sense. And it also gives us visual interest, because it gives us the illusion of lots of layers back here. and that there's cool things going on. There we go. Okay, now that's a light, sort of. So I want to come back with my dark. We'll see if we can, I don't know if we can really do this because not much. Can't really do much because the sky is still wet. But get the idea. I'm getting better at this, y'all. Think I'm getting better. Now what I can do is come back and do some of this probably. You can do now this color that I'm putting here, or that I'm mixing kind of off camera down here, is I added the brown, but it's also tinted with blue. So I'm just doing suggestions of light peeking through, and that's what's amazing or that's what makes it, I think, amazing, is you don't have to do too much. You just do a few strokes and it indicates form and that there's some highlights that are really standing out, where the sun is really capturing. And this is a mess, I know that, but we have to wait till it dries to come back and kind of put in our shadows again. But as long as we have the good shape, then this makes it much more easy. And when you get an effect like this that works, I am the worst at letting it go, because I want to just keep painting and painting, because I'm like, oh, that's cool, so more of it must be even more cool. And that's not always the it's not always true. But it does definitely give some feeling of y'all, this is making me really happy. Now let's put some of this down in here. Again, we'll just, it'll give us a map for where we're going. Since we already have that color and it's pretty, then it starts to coordinate, and we'll do all these different colors, and when we come back on top it will be kind of a, then it'll be easier to put the really high chroma yellow, kind of yellowish color on top, because we'll have kind of this bluish undertone. Oh, that's no good. Oh. That's what I get for painting on the ridge. Let me get this all in, and then I can put it back down in the lip. Okay, there. Now, do things like this that kind of we already laid in the pattern, so now we can kind of put in the because we're mixing all these colors together, they end up being really a good coordination of colors because they're all from the same palette. This is okay. Now let's look at this, where we want to go with this mid-ground and how we want to do this. Okay, I'm going to put a little burnt sienna out on the palette. I'm going to step back from the canvas. Okay, I'm floating a little downhill, so I'm going to have to correct that a little bit. It's kind of sloping this direction. My line is just off, so we'll have to, I wonder actually if I could just solve that right now. There we go. That's a little better. We'll fix this up, but I want to go really far back. Okay, want to go in there and put a little bit of a sunlight. Then we need to come forward, so come forward is going to be a little more. That's some real green. Some more yellow, little red, very little red, but that'll take, we'll take the green down a bit. Okay. Sorry, I haven't been continuing the commentary. I kind of got distracted and into my own thoughts as I am doing this, so that's kind of my fault, but I think it's working. We're controlling, I feel like we're controlling the values, I hope. Okay, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to take a little bit of the red and a little bit of the yellow. I'm going to raise the yellow, kind of that orangish color, put a little more cad yellow. Now we're going to come in here. No, let's see. Nope. Just going to see if I could. Another, whoops. I don't know if this will work, but we'll see. I'll have to mix more because it's I am dialing up this to the orange a little bit more. Just to, again, draw the eye kind of in. Okay, y'all. I think this is good for an underpainting. And it gives us the direction we're going when we come back to put in more. But we'll have this path kind of winding out here. And then it'll hit this tree, and this will drive this all into the back. So we'll really feel that push back into the painting. It's still a little wet. And I am sort of dying here, so I think we're going to cut this one a little shorter. But it's looking really cool, and that's what I want. I'm going to have to correct this a little bit. By enhancing this, I don't think I want to put all these highlights in here, because I'm noticing that it's really drawing the eye into this field, which is where I want the eye to go. So I think I'm just going to keep this, you know, moving this over, moving it forward in the picture plane, keeping this shadowed, I think is a really smart like really. And I'll have to figure this little piece here, I'm not sure, it's a little crazy, so I'll have to diffuse that a little bit. Maybe that's it. Just take that down a little bit. We'll see. Okay. I'm not going to keep over painting this. But I am going to wrap that right there where it is, and let me bring you all back to here. Sorry, I'm a little can tell I'm a little shiny. It's a little warm in here. Not a little, it's a lot warm in here because I have this extra layer on top, and I always forget when I put the apron on, it doesn't breathe much at all. So let me flip this camera around, that way I can say goodnight to you all, and I think we will be back here next week, same time, same bat time, same bat station. Okay, this is where we are with this one. I am, okay, kind of like there. I'm pretty happy with where it's going, and I look forward to finishing the other layers. So I will probably do that this week, or I may work on this in the next live stream. I'll just see, because I'm still working on this one, I did another layer of the Badlands that we did last week, but I want to do some refining on it. I'm pretty pleased with where it is, but yeah, we'll see. I may just work on this one again in the live stream, depending how much studio time I get this week. But I do want to say thank you for all of you that have stayed with me, that have popped in and out. It's so good to have you with me, and I hope you'll join me again next week for another episode of the Paint Party live stream. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice on Instagram. That's where all of my paintings are posted, and I generally post progress photos once I'm done with them, so you can keep track of what's going on there. That said, I hope you have a great week and a great evening, and I will see you next week. Take care. Have a good night.